So for 50 years, right, there's this one band that's just dominated global rock music. And the one thing everyone says about them is that their sound has never changed. Not once. But here's the thing. What if that's not a flaw? What if that's the whole point? All right, let's get into it. I mean, that's the big question with AC/DC, isn't it? We live in a world that's all about reinvention, new trends, changing it up. And yet these guys built an entire empire on doing the exact same thing over and over. So in this explainer, we're going to figure out how on earth they managed to turn that consistency into their secret weapon. Okay, so let's just get it out of the way. Let's start with the one thing everybody says about AC/DC. You know it, I know it, we've all heard it a million times. All their songs sound the same. Yeah, exactly. But here's the twist. That refusal to change, it's not a lack of creativity. It's actually this incredibly powerful commitment to one single idea. See, they're not just playing rock music. They're celebrating the very idea of rock and roll. You know, it's raw power, it's pure energy, that straightforward punch. And that laser-like focus, well, that's the key to the whole thing. So to really get this, we gotta drill down to the absolute core of their music. I mean, forget about complicated melodies. Forget about deep, poetic lyrics. For AC/DC, everything, and I mean everything, comes down to one simple thing: the riff. And this is where we kind of need to shift our perspective. An AC/DC riff, it's not just a catchy little guitar thing. It's like a worldview. Think about it. It takes our messy, complicated world and just boils it down to something pure, something you can feel deep in your chest. That tension and release, that raw rhythm and power. It's like an instant shot of clarity. So let's really look at this flip in perspective. You know, when a critic calls it repetitive, what's really happening is that the band is creating predictability. And why is that good? Well, that's what lets a whole stadium full of people join in. And when someone says it's simple, what they're missing is that it's actually about economy, getting the most power out of the fewest possible notes. It's not about being uncreative. It's about building this solid, reliable foundation where everyone is invited to the party. Right, so here's the bottom line. The simplicity is the point. In a world where we're drowning in choices and complexity, AC/DC gives you something clear, something powerful, and something you can always count on. It's a simple decision. Just turn it on, crank it up, and let that rhythm do the rest. Okay, so that's the music. Now let's take this idea to the stage, because this is where it all comes together. If the riff is the philosophy, then the live show is where that philosophy becomes this massive shared experience. We're not just talking about a concert here. We're talking about a ritual. And look, a ritual isn't just, doing the same thing on repeat. It's a performance with a structure. It's where doing the same thing over and over actually builds meaning, builds emotional power. Think about it. People show up because they know what's coming. They're waiting for those big moments, and they feel like part of a massive community because they're all in on it together. And man, AC/DC are the absolute masters of this. For starters, that set list, it's not random at all. It's a story with a beginning, a middle, and an end. Then you've got all those iconic visual markers, Angus in the school uniform, the giant bell for Hell's Bells, the cannons going off at the end. These aren't just props, you guys, they're signals that tell the whole crowd what's coming next. Then there's Angus Young himself. His insane, non-stop, sweaty energy is like the living, breathing proof of the music's power. And finally, you have the audience. The singing, the fist pumping, they're not just spectators. They're the final piece of the puzzle. They complete the ritual. And this part is so, so important. That duck walk, the sweat just pouring off him, Angus Young's total physical exhaustion isn't just part of the act. It's the proof. It's like he's physically telling every single person in that stadium, this is real. This isn't easy. We're giving you absolutely everything. That sheer effort, it's basically a physical guarantee of their authenticity. So this all leads us to the big idea, the one that ties everything we've talked about together. You take that unchanging sound, you combine it with that powerful, ritualized live show, and what do you get? You get something that's incredibly rare in music today. You get authenticity. Now, it's interesting. Authenticity doesn't just mean being real or whatever. It's more like a deal, an unspoken agreement between the band and their fans. An artist feels authentic when the audience believes they've stuck to their guns, that they've stayed true to who they are, especially when everyone else is telling them to change. And honestly, has any band proven this more than AC/DC? I mean, look at the stuff they've been through. In 1980, their iconic singer Bon Scott tragically dies. They could have packed it in. They could have totally changed their sound. But what did they do? They found Brian Johnson, came back with Back in Black, and doubled down on the exact sound that made them famous. Through all the changing trends, disco, new wave, grunge, you name it, they just kept being AC/DC. Even with all the lineup changes in recent years, that core idea, that sound, has never wavered. That ability to endure, that refusal to change course, for their fans, that is the ultimate proof. So let's put it all together. You've got this pure, powerful sound. You've got the epic live show that's basically a ritual. And you have this incredible, hard-earned authenticity. When you mix all that up, what you end up with is something way, way bigger than just a rock band.
You get a global symbol. I mean, think about that logo with a lightning bolt. You can show that to anyone, anywhere in the world, and they know what it is. And wearing an AC/DC t-shirt, that's not just showing you like a band. It's a statement about who you are. What's truly amazing is how it gets passed down through generations, from parents to kids. That almost never happens. It's become more than music. It's a philosophy.
And at the end of the day, I think that's where their real power comes from. AC/DC isn't just selling you songs or concert tickets. They're offering a feeling, a way of looking at the world. It's all about being direct, being resilient, and just not buying into needless complications. In a world that feels more and more confusing, they offer something really simple: clarity through sheer volume. Which kind of leaves us with one last big thought to chew on. The whole AC/DC story, it's really not just about rock and roll, is it? It's this amazing case study in the power of just sticking to your guns. In a culture that is screaming at us 24/7 to change, to innovate, to be the next new thing, maybe the most revolutionary thing you can do is find one great idea and just commit to it for the long haul.